Good evening, guys, and happy Saturday to all of your sunshiny faces. I think I told you guys in yesterday's vlog and maybe even the day before's vlog that we were trying to get to Tony's and Caputo's yesterday, so we didn't have to do that today, which is just like some days we'll wind up going to the stores on Saturday, some days we won't, some days we'll wind up on Thursday, some days we'll wind up on Wednesday. It's been a little all over the place, but again, to try and avoid and be able to get some more things done today, that's why we wanted to go yesterday. So I don't have a haul for you guys from there today, but I will from Jewel and Aldi tomorrow, along with we need to get dog food from Menards tomorrow. So we did sort of wind up getting to some things today, which was pretty good. My dad ended up getting to some cleaning things upstairs, and you know, like again, just in our whole process of getting everything done and taken care of, and you know, those kind of things. But also Matthew ended up coming home today for a little while. He had a couple things he had to pick up, and he ended up just like hanging around for a while kind of after that. We ended up going we ended up watching the football games that were on today too, and some of the other sports games too, like Hawks were on today. That's why I was got my Hawks sweater on, and also we were watching the UFC fights, those were on. So he ended up staying for a little while, and he had some of the dinner that I made tonight. I think I was telling you guys I was making the chicken. Instead of originally I was going to do like a whole chicken that I got from Tony's, but I didn't end up doing that. So I ended up doing the chicken, what's it called? Stuffing casserole that I did for dinner tonight. So I made that, and Matthew ended up actually having some of he ended up actually taking it on the way home with him, like back to school. And so also too, like those Flamin' Hots, like what's it called, ramen noodle bowls kind of thing, whatever they were. I figured my dad's probably the only other person that would maybe eat them. Like I like spicy things, but it was like chicken flavored or whatever, pork flavored I think, so I can't eat those. So my dad would probably eat them, but it's just like most of the time if my dad's home, he's like only like eating dinner, or else he'll just eat leftovers. Like he never goes out of his way to like make himself something. Like if there's a can of soup that like he bought specifically for himself that's something spicy that like nobody else will probably eat, it'll sit in the pantry, and then he'll finally be like, oh yeah, like, you know, I'm kind of hungry and like there's no leftovers, like there's nothing to eat, or you know, whatever, and he'll be like, oh, like I'll heat myself up something, and he's like, oh, I didn't even know this can of soup was in here, and like, really? Like, so like that kind of stuff. So I know if it's in our pantry, it'll probably wind up getting completely forgotten about, and my dad will never wind up like remembering that it's in there and going and eating it. So I was like, I'll just give it to Matthew, because again, he's, you know, at school getting his own food anyway, so you might as well get, like I said, give that to him to have, since I got them for pretty cheap, and you know, that way he doesn't have to go out and get extra stuff. He can have it for a lunch, you know, 2 of those days or whatever. So again, we ended up kind of just, you know, he came over for today, we just kind of hung out a little while, and you know, so we didn't get quite as much done today, I guess, as we wanted to, even though we avoided going to Tony's and Caputo's. But like my dad got his laundry done again too. Him and my mom were doing other things too, like they had I don't know if they had an errand to run. Originally they did, and they were supposed to go somewhere with Matthew, but then I guess they did, I don't know, they didn't end up doing it or something. But one thing I wanted to share with you guys, which is kind of cool, is that my mom yesterday, she ended up also too, I showed you guys how she ended up getting me that pack of like the dog like buttons, like so that you can teach the dogs to talk like with the buttons. And so there's I didn't realize this, because she bought me a set for my birthday so that I could teach the dogs how to do it, and then she ended up getting a second set that was like a smaller set, like you can combine them, but she ended up getting a second set for them, and in hers though, it had a like actual like how to teach them how to do it. Mine just had the buttons, and that was literally it. It wasn't like a walkthrough of like how to teach them how to, you know, talk with the buttons and stuff like that. And so there's like a whole thing about too, like you're not supposed to originally, like you're supposed to just like get them to like press the buttons and stuff like that. So and then start to have them associate with like, okay, well, when you want food, when you want to eat, you know, eat breakfast or dinner or whatever, you know, like they're supposed to start associating that with, you know, like hitting the button. If they want to go outside, they're supposed to hit the button. If they want water, they're supposed to hit the button. If they want to play, you know, with the toy, they got to hit the button kind of thing, you know, so that then they can ask for things that they want if they want us to do it. So it's kind of the idea of it. But first, it's kind of just getting them to hit the buttons. Bliss, guys, she is so smart. Literally about 5 seconds in, my mom is just like, okay, first thing she was telling her to do is if you just put your paw, your hand out like this, not your paw, but you put your hand out like this and Bliss will give you her paw. So my mom didn't even have to say anything. She just held the button in her hand like this and Bliss automatically started smacking it. And my mom was like, good job, you know, and then was starting to say like button. And then, you know, like, and Bliss would kept hitting it. And then my mom put it on the ground and she would say button. And then Bliss would start hitting it like on her own. And it wasn't even like my mom wasn't even holding it or anything like that. And so Bliss was starting to get into the, you know, like I hit the button, I get a treat kind of thing. So Bravo was also curious about it, which I thought he was going to be completely terrified of the thing. But he was actually very interested, and like my mom was like, you know, lifting up his paw and getting him, because he doesn't really shake, so she was kind of just lifting up his paw and getting him to like hit it, and then would give him like a treat, and he was like kind of getting it. Charlie was terrified of them, which I completely thought was going to be the other way around. I thought Bravo was going to be terrified of them, and like Charlie was going to be like, oh yeah, if you want me to do it for food, I'll do it for food. He seemed like he wanted nothing to do with them at all, and even if it came to food, he was just so unlike him. But even if it came to food, he wanted still nothing to do with them. So like I said, I'm not entirely sure of how this is going to wind up going down, but like even again today, my mom had Bliss do it and showed Matthew, you know, like her trick that she learned already, and she's already again hitting the buttons, and like, you know, again, we're not using them with like the words and association so much anymore. We're just telling her like button, and you know, if we say that, then she goes over there and she hits it, which is already so cool in one day. Like I said, she is so smart. And on top of that too, it's good because she is like food driven. Bravo is not so much, which is why I feel like for him it would take him longer to like learn things, because it's not like, oh, I'll just, you know, like jump through a brick wall for food kind of thing like Bliss and Charlie are almost. But like for some reason Charlie was just so scared of the buttons, like he did not want to touch them at all. So I don't entirely know why he doesn't want to, but he's kind of having a problem with wanting to like even be near them. Like if you put it on the floor, like he's kind of like avoiding it. So I don't know why he's scared of it or anything, like, because again too, we don't even have them turned on, so they're not making any noise, like nothing. I don't know why he is like avoiding them. And like I said to Bravo, who's normally the super scaredy cat of the dogs, is, you know, he's the one that's actually not quite as scared. And again, Bliss, I figured that she would probably pick it up very quickly. So again, now it's just we have to start associating like the colors with the different things, and I don't entirely know. My mom read more the like actual like training directions and stuff like that, but I thought that was really cool that they're kind of already picking that up too. As far as, you know, the whole, you know, clicking buttons and things like that. That is kind of our cool little news and update, I guess, is that the dogs are starting to learn how to talk with their buttons already. And, you know, we're training them to, like I said, hopefully be able to just tell us the things that they need, because Bliss has got two signals kind of we figured out for if she wants to go outside or if she wants to eat. And sometimes she will still kind of do it if it's just really random, like, you know, and we'll be like, you ate already and you were outside, but she'll still kind of do the same thing. She'll bark and then kind of look at her butt, like turn around and like look backwards. And so for some reason she does that when she has to, originally it was to go outside, then she started to do it when she wanted to eat, and you know, because she would just bark, and then I think she kind of did the whole like bark and looked at her butt kind of thing. Like she'll do a regular bark, but the one that where she wants to go outside is like specific, like she looks at her butt. I don't know why, but she, like I said, she's super smart. So that's her way of communicating, like, I have to go do my business outside. You know, and so for some reason though, she started to do that with the wanting to eat thing too. But then if there's just regular barks, like she'll just regularly bark. But for some reason her outside, I have to go to the bathroom, and her I need to eat bark are both kind of the same thing in the way that, like I said, she kind of gestures that she has to do one of those things. So like I said, it's pretty cool that she, like, you know, since she was a puppy, she pretty much has been, you know, like she's done that. So again, you know, like, and that's different from her we're out of water bark, you know, so that's normally not the same thing. So that's why you, like, when you're like, okay, you went out, you had, you know, you went to the bathroom, you know, normally we're like, if you're barking at us, it's probably because you needed water. But sometimes too, she will just bark to alert you to something. Like if there's one of the other dogs gets locked in a bedroom and she's trying to tell you, she will come and start barking at you to like let you know, like the dog's in the bedroom and they're barking and you don't hear them, you know, kind of thing. It's really cute. It's really sweet. She is really a really smart dog, and at, I don't know, she is 11 years old. She is still literally like learning again how to actually hit these buttons, and you know, like again, completely smart enough to figure out how the whole kind of thing is working. I'm like, wow, she's, like I said, she's going to be the one to pick this up and actually be able to communicate with us, you know, stuff that's going on and things that she needs. So like I said, whereas I thought Charlie, he's really smart too, but I think his fear is like crippling him from being able to actually do like what we want him to do, and also too, I think, do what he wants to do to get the treats. So that's why like he was having a really tough time in like learning them. But you know, Bravo again too is not the smartest, you know, he is not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but for some reason he was like kind of picking it up. And even again too, not being super food driven, or like, you know, again, he wasn't like, oh yeah, if I do this I get a treat. It was just kind of like my mom was doing it and was like, good job, and then he gets all excited and it's like, oh, I did a good job, and like he doesn't care if he gets a treat from that or not, so long as you praise him. It's more with him, it's praises than it is really like treats. So you can teach him, it's just, you know, like, but he has to be willing. Like I said, whereas the other dogs again would do anything for a treat, he won't, you know, do anything for praise, but he will normally wind up again kind of doing whatever, you know, like if within reason. He's still not gonna like get super skittish and scared if you're rewarding him for what he's doing. But I don't know why, forever, whatever reason, Charlie just was not having it yesterday. And he didn't really want to be involved in it. And then like even again this morning or last night, I was trying to like get him to hit the button when he was eating, like, you know, and he did not want to touch the button at all. He kept running away from me. I was like, really? Like, and that's like to get his food. Like when they go to eat, I make them sit, I make them stay, I put the bowl on the ground, I will even walk away from the bowl, and then I will tell them to come. They're allowed to come to their bowl. Like I have them trained like that. And so you know, for him to, you know, because again, he knows I will take the bowl away from him if he doesn't listen to his commands. So the fact that he was doing that with the buttons is also really weird, because he would sit there and wait for like 20 minutes drooling, watching his bowl, until I finally told him to come and eat it. But the fact that he wouldn't hit the button with his paw just for a treat, you know, or for his food, was like weird, you know. So like I said, I don't know why he's so freaked out about them and doesn't really want to, you know, again, get into the whole button pressing thing. But maybe we can work through it with him and, you know, he can figure it out. But I would really love it if he would be able to, because I don't really know, like, I think Bravo would probably figure it out at some point, but I just feel like Bravo would just, like, not associate the things with the stuff that he's supposed to. You know, like, he'd be hitting, like, food when he wants to go outside, or, you know, again, wanting to go outside for food. Like, he'd just go and hit any button, you know, instead of like the right one that he's supposed to press, which is kind of how the whole thing's supposed to work. So anyways, guys, I need to get in the shower and get to bed so I can get to the grocery stores tomorrow, so I can share that with you guys. But if you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.